Hey guys, do you remember that beatdown that Lost got at the end of episode 8 of the Bionicle web series? I wonder if that had been any different if he had been any kind of animal other than a spider. Like, what if he had been the Lord of Dog Spiders? Not only did I contradict myself, that wouldn't work either. Back to the drawing board. Hello everyone, and welcome to the recent review. Today we're looking over set number 70790, Lord of Skull Spiders. The set contains approximately 145 pieces, was released in early 2015, and at time of release was about $15. Goodness gracious. First off, you're getting a really great parts per price ratio here. I mean, the value is absurdly great. Granted, a lot of it is still Technic, but I digress. Second of all, hope you aren't arachnophobic like I am. Even though this doesn't really scare me. I mean, he's only got 6 legs instead of 8. But with all that out of the way, before we get onto the actual set, let's look over. That's right, the last one for the winter wave, that box! We've come this far, guys. On the box, we have Slower Skull Spiders, Bionicle's back, this thing which never really shows up. Information, comic, function, mask, and the final vanishing trick until summer. Love boxes. Trinkets include just this, the golden mask of the skull spiders. It's basically just a golden skull spider head. You can connect the standard skull spider legs, and it clips on via this standard attachment system. So, yeah, it's neat. It's a nice little trinket. Very exclusive to the Lord of Skull Spiders himself. Speaking of the Lord of Skull Spiders, here he is. Now this set, amongst the community, is incredibly controversial. He is, without a doubt, a really great parts per price ratio. You're gonna get a lot of value out of this set if you want all these parts. However, he is incredibly small and, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get into the actual set himself, Lord of Skull Spiders. Right off the bat, the pros. He has a very consistent color scheme. Many would definitely agree. His color scheme consists primarily of black, small, minute amounts of white, yellow, the blue and red pins, and translucent orange. I believe that's trans orange. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know who you are. So the color scheme right off the bat is fairly consistent. Now the pro is you are getting a lot of really great parts for that price. As I mentioned before, controversy surrounding a lot of the sets have been their price, specifically the $20, quote, Titan sets, the larger Toa. But this guy is undeniably a great value. You're getting a lot of parts for only $15. The price of, say, Liwa, who has 85, approximately. Yeah, I think that's right. Other pros many would consider would be his look. It is very cohesive. It does look like a spider for the most part. His legs are wider apart, and he doesn't have 8, instead he has 6, but he does pull off that kind of creepy crawly look. Many would also agree that the pros would also consist of his functions, of which he has technically 2. The first one, and this is a minor one, would be his jaws. His jaws can move. They move like that, you know, you can make him go, "Wah! What are you doing?" Or make him shut up. Either way, it looks very menacing, and that's kind of a neat little minor function. The other function, and this is the one that's been primarily advertised, is if you grab this handle here and you pull this trigger, his legs will come down in a crushing motion. Now primarily this is advertised as being able to hold on to the mask, which it does very nicely. But it is also advertised for being able to crush people, specifically lonely little protectors. Now, I'm sure if you get the protectors without weapons, it's a lot easier to do. But he will grab them, and he does grab them actually very nicely. So that is really neat to see. That function works phenomenally. It does work really, really well. Whether or not you do or do not like the fact that this looks like this, it does work quite nice. Here's an under shot. So there you go. It uses a rubber band instead of being a full gear system. Now the pro a lot of people would consider would be all of his legs. And now he does have a lot of legs, that's true, at least 6 legs, but he does have some minor amount of articulation in them. So you can give him some minor poses, maybe he's walking. I'm sure spiders will walk like this. Yeah, that looks about right. That's a spider. You can lay him out flat. You can bring these here, hold them up like that. Now you can do a bunch of stuff with him. He is somewhat posable. The head will also minorly move, so he can look up, look to the sides, do that whole bit. So he does have some amount of articulation that gives him a little bit more personality than he already has. Now the pro a lot of people would consider, and this is kind of a minor thing that isn't talked about all that much, you kind of sit the mask right behind his head, kind of like a crown. I know that there is a way to actually connect it. I know our very own Messinak knows how to do that. I do not. But you can do that. You can kind of just sit it on his head like a crown. That's kind of cool. So that pretty much sums up all the pros. There aren't a whole lot. They are good, and to a lot of people this is actually a very good set. They do like how it has a lot of personality. It's not the most vicious looking thing. It may not be the largest thing, but it's doable. It works. But unfortunately, this is where the controversy sets in. Let's get into the cons. What makes a set a little bit less worth getting? Or a lot? Right off the bat, many people may not like his function. Considering that, well, it looks like this. He has to be very gappy when doing this, plus these, in order to get this function to actually work, to achieve. Speaking of which, a lot of people would agree that his cons would be his gappiness, because he is gappy even when the function is not in play, as you can see here. And I'm sure they could have armored that up quite nicely. Another con a lot of people would agree would be the yellow gears in a mostly consistent color scheme. I mean, the color scheme is quite consistent and solid, except for the yellow gears and the blue pins, which do stick out fairly obnoxiously amongst a color scheme that's black and trans-orange. The biggest con people have with this set is his lack of articulation. The only articulation he has is 6 points in his legs, be that his feet. And 7 if you count his head. Other than that, and other than the function, his legs do not move. And that makes dynamic posing very difficult. A lot of people do not believe that the function was worth just totally and completely tearing out all that articulation. He is a very static set, and it's very difficult to pose him, what little you already can. Some people believe that a con would be his printing, considering it is just a chest piece with a bunch of weird cartoony printing on it. Others believe that's fine, but what have you. Another con a lot of people have is his size. This is our villain, our main villain for the Winter Wave. And you gotta look. This is how he looks compared to the Protector Vice. He's not very big at all. He could probably take the Protector Vice. He's very fast, apparently. He can spit webs. But look at a Toa. Liwa, for example. No. This guy controls the jungle. He can fly. He has 2 axes. You don't stand a chance. And just imagine a team of Toa. All 6 of them against him. Well, that probably wouldn't end well, would it? So a lot of people do not like the fact that he is very, very small. So that pretty much sums up all the cons. He does have a few others, like the open ball joints here and back here. I already mentioned the gaps. Some people are confused as to why there's a ball joint here instead of something else. But that's pretty much all I can think of right now. Those are the majority of his cons. My opinion, because some people actually want that apparently, I think this is an okay set. It kind of pales in comparison to some of the Rahi we've gotten from 2001, but for a function set, the function works really well. And to this set's credit, it has a lot of character. It is a kind of you know, I want to get that set. Not just because I'm a completionist, but it looks kind of cool. And Lost definitely does have a cool look. If you can get past the fact that he has next to no articulation and a ton of different gaps in all sides, then you'll probably enjoy this set as a nice shelf warmer. Just put it up for display and enjoy the fact that you at least got a menacing gold mask out of it. So, that has been my review of Lost. What do you guys think? Do you like Lost? Do you pity Lost? Do you have Lost? Did you like the build? Do you like this set? Thank you all very much for watching. If there's anything I missed, anything you think I should have said, or anything I messed up on, please let me know in the comments below or on the TTV message boards. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all next time.